Hi everyone, welcome to the Movieception Show. My name is Fariba, and I just want to take the quick bit of my time to actually do my review on Thunderbolts, because I know I'm not the best at keeping up with reviews, but if there's one thing I'm usually good at, is I actually do keep up with my Marvel reviews. So, the movie's now out. I actually had a chance to go see it a couple nights ago, Thursday night, with my good buddy Marilyn, as some of you guys have actually, have actually seen on this channel in the beginning of the series. So in the beginning of this, the creation of the channel. So I had a chance to go see the film with her. And even before watching the film, if there was one thing that I was really excited about, was seeing Thunderbolts with the asterisk, just because just having seen the trailers, it looked like it was going to be very entertaining. Considering the fact that it definitely gave like the premise of a Suicide Squad vibe, but also one that is like truly entertaining, and seeing all these guys coming together. So I actually was very, very excited to see this film. This was honestly I think it was in my top most anticipated movies of this year. I don't know if I actually ended up doing that video, but I was actually really excited to go see it. So I had a chance to go see it this past Thursday, and the best way to describe it is that I thought overall it was a very good movie. It actually felt like we're finally going into the right direction with the MCU. I think that's a very key thing to say, just because I know the MCU has been a bit of a mixed bags. I think I did do my review on Brave New World, and from that, I know I was a little disappointed with it. It just felt really bland. There was some great action here and there, but overall it just felt like a really bland film. It didn't really make me very excited, whereas this one actually felt like I was very invested in the story. There was something that was going on that really did hook me from beginning to the end, which was something that I was struggling a little bit with Brave New World. And a lot of that is just because of where the direction this movie was going. Now, a lot of people have been talking about this movie and how it really goes deep into mental health, depression. That was something I did not expect was going to be the case, but that ended up becoming a very key thing, especially when you're watching characters like Yelena and Red Guardian, Bob. So I think because of that, it made this story felt very genuine, very personal. I think that's what it made it such a really relatable MCU movie. But not only that, but there's a lot of relevancy to what's going on with these characters and their involvement in the MCU. I think that's a very key part of it. But the fact that this film managed to actually show something and go so deep into the whole mental health, depression, all that sort of stuff. I mean, that's a really ballsy move from MCU, because that could have gone either way, especially given the fact that a lot of people have been criticizing the MCU for being too woke. But this is one that I feel like it really had a really good purpose to what it was trying to approach and showcasing some of the characters. You can see why all these characters came together. Yes, they're known as, anti-heroes, and it's like, what would make them heroes? But at the same time, getting a deeper outlook of what these characters are going through, whether it be depression, mental health, loneliness, right? I think that's what made it so that they all are very personable. They're all are really relatable. And I think that's what really helped set this perspective that, as audiences, we can really relate to them. We can sympathize them. And I think overall, it really humanizes them. I think sometimes that's something that can be lost when we have characters who can be villains or anti-heroes, and yet we forget that they can be humans in some way, some form. I think that's what made this story so well done, especially going into the ending of the film and given the whole revelation about Bob and what's going through in his head, and how, the Thunderbolts are somehow able to resolve that. And I think that was a really key part of what made this film really special in its own way. I mean, I feel like the whole A24 trilogy it kind of made a lot more sense, right? I mean, there definitely was a little bit of that touch of A24 into the story and some of the characters. Now, is that to say that this is the perfect MCU movie? I mean, without a doubt, it's not. It's not the best. It's not the most perfect. I definitely think it does rank as one of the better ones of this phase, and one that's leading up to Doomsday, just because one, it really kind of sets the tone for what the team is going through. Now, I think maybe some of the key issues that I had with this film is that while characters like Yelena and Bob really were the standouts, I mean, they were the ones that were really carrying the story. They're the ones that, because of what was going on in their lives, there was a lot of in-depth chemistry between them. There's a lot of depth with what was going on in their backstories. I really loved Bob. I actually was very enthralled by him. I was really enjoying Lewis Pullman's performance as Bob, and that's because of the fact that it was originally supposed to be played by Steven Yeun, and then he had to drop off because of the whole strikes that happened, and that caused a whole schedule conflict. The fact that Lewis Pullman was able to take over this character and still make it his own, I was thoroughly enjoyed by his character. I mean, both when it came to just the humor as well as some of the emotional bits. So gotta give props to to Lewis Pullman on that. Of course, Florence Pugh, I mean, you can't really go wrong with her. She does a really exceptional performance as Yelena. I mean, I think a really key thing is that if you have not already seen Hawkeye, there's a lot of deep info that they give us about what happened with Yelena and how she felt since losing Natasha. That was a really key thing that actually continues on into this film and how it becomes very consequential. And we really see what she's going through from beginning to the end, and how her experiences are very intertwined with not just Bob, with everyone else in the team. And again, once again, humanizing a lot of the characters. Now, even that being said, I will say that there's some aspects where I wish there could have been a little bit more. There could have been a little bit more to some of the characters. I think a key one would be Ghost. Yes, we kind of already got her backstory back in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I feel like she was kind of a little sidelined, even though she did like a lot of the work in this film, not gonna lie. I just felt like there could have been a little bit more with her character. Then even with Bucky, I was a little disappointed that they actually didn't do a whole lot with him. Yes, he had some, just seeing him on screen was great. I mean, I say this as someone who really loves Bucky. I love Bucky Barnes so much. So it's just like seeing him coming into the screen, it's great. I wish there could have been a little bit more about the whole Congressman storyline, just because it was just mentioned and then it was just never mentioned again. And heck, I don't even think they even addressed what was going on. I think they even at one point I was like a little confuzzled. I was like, wait, what just happened here? Because they kind of give a little bit of a detail about his character and his role in Congress. And I was like, I think I'm missing something. So I wish there could have been a little bit more explanation with Bucky and his role in Congress, or even post-Congress. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this film. I think it's a really great addition to the movie. I mean, knowing the fact that a lot of these characters are coming back in Doomsday, I think that's a really key bit. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into the post-credits scenes. I would say the first one doesn't really matter too much. I mean, it does explain one thing about the marketing, and I was like, okay, that explains a whole lot. So that's one thing. The second one I would say is maybe the most important one. One, because there's a lot of key details, especially one that really addresses a little bit about what the asterisk is about. So there's that, and kind of just issues behind that. But really, there's a really key scene that they kind of imply that will be very important for Doomsday. All I can say is that watching that post-credit scene, I think it's the first time I actually felt very excited. I actually felt really excited. Like this is, because it's been a while since we've actually had post-credit scenes, and it's really set the tone and hype for what's going to come up. And I'm like literally in my theater, and I'm just like, ooh. And I was giving some questions, and a lot of people are like wondering, curious, and then once we kind of get a little bit of we realize what's going on, and we're just like, I actually was getting excited. A lot of people in my theater was getting really excited. So there's that. Oh, I almost forgot. Okay, I will say one thing that I have to give a lot of credit to MCU or Marvel Studios. Let's just say there's one scene that was really ballsy, and I've never seen so many people in my theater react so strongly to it. It's the one with Red Guardian. So if you've already seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you've not, just prepare yourself. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed Thunderbolts. Asterisk with the asterisk. I really did enjoy it. It was maybe the first time I actually felt like I was really invested in the story, one that actually was generally really caring about and wondering what's going to happen from beginning to the end, reacting to some of the characters and what's going through their lives. Again, really just setting this whole idea of humanizing these anti-heroes, and again, it explains a whole lot of what leads up to kind of what happens at the end, and again, alluding to what could be a much bigger scenario going into the MCU. Again, with everything that's going on in some of the upcoming movies. If you have not seen it, I would say go see it. I haven't figured out yet if I'm going to have a chance to go see it again, mostly because my time is I'm a little busy. I'm a really busy person, but I wanted to at least take the time to give my review, my reaction, and overall I really did enjoy it. I think it's a very good film. I think one that is really in a very good direction of reviving the MCU a little bit, just because I think that's been a key thing. And yeah, we had Deadpool Wolverine from last year, but I felt like this was really the true test for the MCU and whether or not they can actually get back on track and give us some quality films. I think this one did what I need to do to really set that. And I think that if that's the case, if that can continue into Fantastic Four, I will be very happy going into Doomsday, because at least that would mean that we're finally getting back to this era that really made us excited about MCU movies. So if that's the case, I cannot wait to see what's going to happen. So yeah, that's all to say about Thunderbolts with the asterisk. Have you seen it? If you have, I want to hear your thoughts. Like, what do you feel about the film? What are some things that you may have liked, may have not liked? What are your impressions about these characters and their stories, and just the whole exploration about mental health? I think that was a very key thing about the movie, and yet they still made it so that it's still very funny in some ways and not ruining any sort of that tone, that balance. But maybe you have other thoughts. What do you think about just the post-credit scenes, if you've seen it? Like, are you excited about what could be the future of the MCU? And if so, does that mean that you are excited about what is about to come out in the future? Does this mean that you're going to be excited about Fantastic Four, or are you going to set your reservations about your impressions about the MCU until after that film? Are there anything else that you feel like were some of like your highlights, maybe your favorite parts from the film? And if you have any other theories, questions, comments, anything else that you feel like you want to talk about now having seen Thunderbolts, or that if you're planning on seeing it, like what are some of your curiosities? Let me know your thoughts below. Make sure to like and subscribe.